Our worksheet that we are working on today is 5.NF.7c. Okay, we are still working with dividing our fractions, but this time we are going to be dividing our fractions by a whole. A relay race is 5/6 mile long and is run by 4-member teams. If each team member completes the same part of the total distance, what fraction of a mile does each team member run? So this is when we ask that question. Are we dividing the miles or are we dividing the team members? We are taking the total amount of miles that we have to run, which is 5/6, and dividing it by 4 team members to see which each team member runs. So now that I make my whole number into a fraction, I keep my first fraction, I multiply, and I flip this into 1/4, which becomes 5/24. So each team member will run 5/24 of a mile to add up to 5/6. And I know that that looks strange, but remember, when you would add 5/24 4 times, you would end up simplifying it down, and we can tell that because it's a number order fraction, so chances are it's been simplified. All right, this is a 2-step story problem. The baker has 12 cups of sugar. She sets aside 5 cups of that 12 cups for a cake. Okay, so she started with 12 cups. She's going to set aside or take away 5 cups that she'll put to the side so she can make a cake later. Okay, so now we are down to 7 cups of sugar. All right. She wants to use the rest of this sugar for a pie recipe. So she has 7 cups to see how many pies she can make. Each one of her pies needs 1/4 cup of sugar. So she's going to take these 7 cups that she has and divide it out into 1/4. So it's like her taking her 7 cups and saying, okay, this pie needs 1/4, and this pie needs 1/4, and this pie needs 1/4. How many pies will she end up after she takes all 7 cups and divides it into 1/4 segments? So we take our 7, turn it into a whole number. We change and multiply, and then we flip. 7 times 4 is 28/1. And does that make sense? Yes. To say that she can make 28 pies makes a lot more sense than saying she can make 1/28 of a pie. So yes, B is our answer, 28 pies. Barrett divided 1/5 by 4. Okay, so if I just right there stop and change this 1/5 by 4, I can write that right above it, 1/5 by 4. And take those words and change them into a problem. And he got the answer 20. Without calculating, explain why Barrett's answer is not correct. Let's write it down here. He took 1/5 and he divided it by 4. And he's going to end up with a whole number. If we started with a fraction and divided it by a whole number, we're going to end up with an answer that is a fraction, not a whole number. So we cannot end up with 20. And we'll just go ahead and double check that one. We turn this into our whole, we keep, we multiply, we flip, and we're going to end up with 1/20. We started with a fraction, we end with a fraction. Kara has 10 cups of trail mix. She wants to divide the trail mix into 1/4 cup servings. How many 1/4 cup servings are there in 10 cups? So once again, we have 10 cups here. I'm going to pour 1/4 here. I'm going to pour 1/4 here. I'm going to pour 1/4 here. Therefore, I am separating or distributing them out. So I am taking my 10 cups and I am dividing it by 1/4 to see just how many servings I can get out of 10 cups. I turn this into a fraction. I keep, I multiply, I flip. I have 40/1. Therefore, I can have 40 servings. Okay. Jeremy has 12 pounds of potting soil. He puts 1/5 pound of soil into each flower pot. How many flower pots can he fill? So once again, I have a 12-pound bag of potting soil, and I have these pots out here. I go up to one, I put 1/5 of the potting soil, and 1/5 of the potting soil, and 1/5 of the potting soil. How many pots am I going to be able to make? I am going to take my 12 pounds and divide it by my 1/5 to see just how many pots I can make. I turn this into a fraction. I keep, I multiply, I flip. 12 times 5, 10, guys, why can't I do this one? 60 over 1, sorry. Okay, so he can fill 60 pots. Okay, and that makes sense. To say that he can fill 1/60th of a pot would not make sense. All right, number 6. Taryn walked 4 miles last month, walking to school and home again. So 4 miles in total, walking there and home. If the distance from her house to school is 1/8 of a mile, how many days did she walk to school last month? So she had a total amount of miles of 4 miles. Okay. So from her house, the distance from her house to school is 1/8 of a mile. So she did that twice. She did 1/8 plus 1/8 would equal 2/8, okay? 2/8 each day is how long that would take her. So how many days did she walk? Would I take 4 divided by 2/8 or 2/8 divided by 4?
4 divided by 2/8.
4 divided by 2/8. I make it into a whole number. I keep. I multiply. I flip. 4 times 8 is 32. 1 times 2 is 2. 32 divided by 2 is
16.
16. So how many days did she walk to school last month? She walked 16 days. All right, the area of the bathroom floor. First of all, area is length times width. And the area equals 18 square feet. So we do our feet with the number 2 on there, which tells me I already know that's the total amount of area. Now, I want to be placing these 1/4 square foot tiles to fill my entire 18 square foot. I need to know how many of those do I need to buy. Multiply? We're going to do multiply or divide?
Divide.
Okay, so I take my 18 and I divide it by 1/4.
Yes.
Okay, because here we would have multiplied, but there we have our answer, so we have to go backwards to find out what these would have been. We change this into a fraction, we keep it, we multiply, we flip, which becomes 18 times 4, which is 72 over 1, which really is 72 tiles. So when you go to the store and those tiles are each 25 cents, you think, oh, I can do it, no problem. Well, when you have to buy 72 of them, it adds up quickly. Yuri is cutting a board into 1/5 yard pieces. If the board is 2 yards long, how many pieces can Yuri cut? So we've done these multiple times. I have a 2-foot yard, okay, where on here, we'll go to right here, because there's my 2, okay? And I need 1/5 sections. So I have to take these and divide them into 1/5 sections, okay? So how many of those do I get? I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I would end up with 10 pieces. Okay, so to represent that in equation, I take 2 whole, I divide it into 1/5, and I get 10. So C is my answer. All right, Gerard is making curry sauce. For 1 cup of curry sauce, he needs 1/4 cup of coconut milk. So for one cup curry, that equals 1/4 cup coconut. All right, so that's kind of what's going on up there. At this point though, he has 3 cups of coconut milk. How many cups of curry sauce could he make? Well, first of all, we have to figure out how many 1/4 cups are in 3. So we take our 3 and we divide it by our 1/4. So 3 becomes a fraction with the 1. I keep it, I multiply, and then I flip. And so I get 12, okay? So if I have 3 cups of coconut milk, that means that I have enough coconut milk to make 12 cups of curry sauce. Okay. Now, this is part B. Gerard used all the coconut milk to make the curry sauce. How many 1/3 cup servings are there in curry sauce? Okay, so he went ahead and he used all these cups of milk. So he had 3 cups of milk to make the curry sauce. So now we want to know, of that 3 cups, those 3 cups of milk made 12 cups of curry sauce. How many 1/3 cup servings are in 12 cups? So we take 12 divided by 1/3. Okay? So 12 becomes a fraction. I keep, I multiply, I flip. And I have 12 times 3, which is 36. So there are 36 1/3 cup servings in that curry sauce. All right, our last 3 problems. Emma, or Emma, I'm not sure what this is, but it's a boy. Ima has 1/3 gallons of water. He pours equal amounts of water into 5 bottles. So he has a 1/3 gallon here that he's taking, and he's distributing equally among the 5 bottles. So he is taking his 1/3 and he's dividing it among 5 bottles, okay? And all it asked for was an equation, so we don't even have to solve this one. Over here, Kira wants to use 1/4 of her garden for beans, as shown by the shaded part. So this whole thing is her garden. Shading in one of the 4 sections, this is where she has her beans. 8 bean plants will each take up the same amount of space. Draw the lines on the diagram to show how she can divide the area into equal spaces for bean plants. So now I'm going to go across to make my rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow. Okay, so that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. What fraction of the garden will each bean plant take up? So each bean plant will take up this fraction of the garden. That fraction is a 1 out of how many? Well, we could count all of these, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Each bean plant will take up 1/32 of the garden, okay? And we can check that by saying 1/4 divided by 8, which we would turn this into a whole number. Keep, multiply, flip, and we get 1/32. So our answer is 1/32. All right, see you next time. Miss you all.